It's J. Michael Collins from VO Atlanta, and I'm thrilled at all the great things VO Radio is doing. It's a great asset for our community, and I'm a proud listener and guest. Now, did you know that you don't have to go to VO Atlanta to be at VO Atlanta? As a special thank you to the VO Radio community, we're offering 25% off all the VO Atlanta content from each of the past 3 years. We're talking hundreds of hours of content from the top people in the industry, sharing all their insights into how to make your VO career more successful. It's the biggest conference in the industry on demand in HD high-quality video replay. Just go to voatlanta.me, that's voatlanta.me, and redeem code VOA-replay-25. That's all caps, VOA-replay-25. Enjoy the conference from the comfort of your own home and keep enjoying VO Radio like I do. Thanks again from me, CEO Anna Collins, and everybody at VO Atlanta.
Hey, are you a fan of YouTube? Have something to share or discuss with other voice artists? Then the new VOTubi is for you.
When I wake up every day, I get on YouTube and check the front page. I scroll, and what do I see? Oh, what a surprise.
We now offer an open mic style live show every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern on our YouTube video show. VOTubi is a live YouTube video meetup every Friday. Call in, Zoom in, email, or text your question, or just watch and learn from participants' viewpoints. Panelists include feature contributors and voice talent like you. We'll discuss topics faced by every level of voiceover talent. Join us and catch VOTubi Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern. VO Radio, it's here for you. Okay, welcome to Let's Talk VO. This episode of Let's Talk VO. Okay, it's definitely Monday, and I'm so sorry for all of you over there that's having cold weather and drizzly days like Peter Drew and Bev Standing, and I have 82 degrees here in sunny California, so I'm just enjoying this day so much. So I'm going to send y'all some sunshine.
SPF on, SPF 50.
Did you feel it? Did you feel it? Oh my God, starting to burn. Okay, well, yes, today on our panel, we have Bev Standing from Inside the Booth. That's her feature. We've got Peter Drew with Hot Mic, and we have Anthony Reese with Business Sense and a whole bunch of other amazing features and all kinds of things you can find out there. And myself, Stacey Barrow with Top of Mind. That's my feature. And there's a whole bunch of ways that you can join us on the show. And like I always say, we really want to talk to you, so I hope you do. Some of those ways are you can use the Zoom video link on our website on voradioonline.com. You can also use the Zoom call-in number if you want to do it that way, if you don't want to be seen, or maybe you're in the car. You can also text us at 970-682-3424. You can use the little button, ask or record a question button, and you can click on that info icon, and then there's a little email icon there on the app that you can reach us to, or email the old-fashioned way at ask@voradioonline.com. We've got so many different ways. I'd like to thank our sponsors today. So we've got the VoiceOver Extra, the VoiceOver Resource Guide, we have the VoiceOver Collective, and Nava. So now I can't wait to get into it. Let's have a listener question.
Sounds like a heartbeat going off there. I'm not sure what.
As long as it's not a straight.
Yeah.
You're listening to VO Radio. The views, opinions, and insights shared are not necessarily those of other panelists, guests, and contributors on VO Radio and its broadcast programs. Advice, tips, opinions, and legal suggestions are based on industry experience of the individual co-host, panelist, guest, or contributor. These opinions and comments are not endorsed by or verified by VO Radio and its operators. Listener discretion is advised.
The best music ever made.
If you're like most voice talent today, you're wondering various things relating to your voiceover career. Well, VO Radio has your answers. Here's more questions answered by our panelists live on Let's Talk VO here on VO Radio.
Listen and learn.
Internet radio for the voice artist, just like you.
Okay, yeah. Oh, before we got to that little spot, that was Tony Raimondo, and his voice is so perfect for those spots. Oh my goodness.
He's getting a lot of work now, ironically. He said he can't believe how much he's getting from his affiliation with VO Radio. Thank goodness for that. Again, and he's also with what's that called? Alignable or something like that?
Alignable. Yeah, I just started.
He says he gets more
that.
connections through Alignable than, so I really started checking out lately, and quite a few people are really swearing by it. It's growing into a pretty good networking tool. So look for Alignable there.
I'll let you know how it goes, because I just started, reaching out to people through that, and it's something I didn't care to do for a long time, but yeah, it looks interesting. I'll let you know.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's see here. The question we have for today, we have Drew out of Kentucky. Can we make money only doing one genre these days? Can we make money doing only one genre these days?
Oh boy, that's a can of worms for sure.
You know what, Anthony, I'm going to pass this to you.
Well, thank you very much. And I guess the way I look at it is, and I can hear Deb Monroe in the back of my head already right now screaming. But the reality is, that's one of these questions that has a variety of different opinions on it. Some people say tomato, tomato, right? I think that the truth of the matter is, if you focus on one at the beginning of your career and you find one that works for you, you stay with it, that could become ultimately your focus for a while. But along the way, you want to definitely train in other genres. You want to definitely, let's say you start out in narration. That's, you think your core or your forte. That doesn't mean you don't want to focus on training and learning and working with a good commercial coach and or character coach, or even an imaging coach, or all of the above. There are a lot of trainers out there like myself and Bev and Deb and some people that are out there that are more advanced coaches that teach specialty type of genres, but they also focus in on, but don't ignore the rest of the pie. Don't just work in one slice of the pizza or the pie, if you will, and ignore the rest of it. But as you start out, you definitely want to learn the ropes and everything, but then pick one that you really want to focus on, run with it. But at the same time, don't ignore the rest of the subgenres, if you will. So I would say the answer is kind of a yes and no. It really depends on your abilities. Short and sweet and to the point. With that said, it depends on the individual talent. If you're a listener, somebody watching out there, hi you, depending on where you're at, your skill level's at. If you have a background in theater and music, you've done voiceover years ago, or you've been in the broadcast world, you have some acting experience and your versatility is therefore intact, you probably want to try to go for everything you can. But if you are a newbie just starting out with no experience, no music, no nothing, you don't even sing, or you're not even singing, doing vocals or theater, it's going to be a little bit tougher for you to get all of the different genres down. So focus on one you think your strength, and get an opinion from someone like Bev or myself or Deb, who's an honest, hard love coach that will tell you, this is probably where you need to start at. If you're diverse enough, like I do with a lot of my students, I'll tell them right up front when I do their evaluation, you can pretty much go for all of it. Let's get you training everywhere. But if you are a one genre type of talent, don't stay that way forever. So I know I tanged a bit, but I'll hand it back to you, Stacy, and maybe you can have Bev give her opinion on too.
Absolutely. And that's so interesting. And we also have to remember, when we're newer, we don't know what we're capable of. In the very, very beginning, I thought, oh, I'm going to just do audiobooks. That sounds so interesting, and I love to read. But come to find out, it's probably like the bottom of the list of the things that I love to do now, because they're very, very long, and I love other things that I had no idea that I was going to love. And it's important to be versatile and to be marketable. What do you think, Bev?
I would like to go to Peter first, because as soon as you ask the question, Peter's like, nodding his head, and I'm going, he's already got an answer. So go to Peter and then come back to me at the end.
Okay.
Good. I appreciate that.
Good stuff.
Thank you. As far as specializing, if you're good with really long words and complicated, if you have a verbal dexterity, medical. obviously, with all those technical terms, and you're comfortable with that kind of thing, legal, those kinds of things. You can specialize, but as Anthony said, it is the 80-20 rule in pretty much everything we do. So 80% might be medical or legal, but you have to be open to other things and need to train in those. And if you don't have the facility, as Anthony was saying regarding acting, yeah, you're going to do more of the straight stuff, but there's other things. There's e-learning, which is becoming gamified to a degree, and they're asking for a little more character kind of stuff. But those kinds of things, you can find allied genres, if you will, that where you don't have to go out and do crazy voices and be really silly, do that kind of stuff. Because a lot of people are inhibited that way. They just won't do that. They can't go there, but they can. Now I can't even say it. Deoxynucleoribonucleic acid. There
Right,
we go.
you got it.
If you can say it.
Good job.
I
Good
can
job.
read it.
It's Monday. You did really good. DNA.
Pretty good for a
DNA.
Monday, didn't I? Then that's a genre that might be perfect for you. But again, train in various things, and as Stacy was saying, you might not know what's best for you. So try all those different things. Then you're going to find what you're really good at, and then but still apply, audition for other things, and go to production houses that specialize in automotive, or production houses that specialize in so I'm trying to think of another. Well, again, e-learning. They're e-learning houses.
Finance or whatever, yeah.
The finance or whatever. But you're not going to make it just doing medical. You're not going to just make it doing legal. It's really hard, and some people do it very well, and they do on camera. They do the what do they call the in-ear
ADR.
the in-ear
Cochlear implant.
no.
Okay.
The prompter, the teleprompter,
Right.
in-ear teleprompter, where you just basically repeat what's going into your ear. That's a really specific skill, and some people are really good at it. They stand on camera, and they're just literally parroting what's going into their ears.
Oh my gosh.
And so they're on camera, and it's still a voiceover because it still sounds, if you take their face away, they're still presenting this medical information. So there's specialties, but you got to broaden it out, because you're not going to make it on one genre, probably.
Good
Some people
points.
do, but
What do you think, Bev?
Very, very interesting. And you, Bev?
No, the answer is no.
Okay.
There we go.
I
Thanks
love
for
this.
coming,
I love
everybody.
it. That's
Thank you.
what we want to hear.
thanks for
The answer is
your
no.
I wish I wasn't as
President.
winded.
No,
Cool.
you need to be a
Just
little
right
more
to-
direct.
I
Bev.
loved
Can you
it.
be
Yeah,
more direct?
no.
Can you give us shorter
the reason
answers,
I say
please?
that is because there are a lot of talent that appear to do only one thing. You know them because they are the voice of,
Right.
or you know them because they do so many video games. It's Dave Fenoy does how many video games? But I guarantee you he also has done corporate stuff.
Oh, he
Like
did
I
corporate and
honestly think you
commercials.
can't build a house with just wood. You can't build a house with just straw.
Nice.
You can't build something with just a flathead screwdriver. You need to have, the other heads in the screwdriver. You need the other tools in the toolbox. So can you make money only doing one? Yes. But could you sustain a business and make a confident living with one genre? My thought is no. You can be stronger in one than the other, but I think you need to be diverse. It's, as Anthony and Peter said, you have to learn what that diversity leads you to. You can be strong in one and go, I just want to do commercial. Great. But have something in your back pocket.
Great. Well said. And she triggered a thought right away in my brain. And that is a lot of people hit the lottery. They get lucky. They come out, they put a year or two in, they're focused on narration. Let's use an example. And all of a sudden they land a national, like I had S.C. Johnson for a long time. You land a water pick, like I used to work for, and you land a major national client. And that client's great for about a year or two, probably even 3 or 4. Then all of a sudden they go belly up, or they get a new marketing team in or a new ad firm, and they want to use their connections instead of the good old boys they've been using. And all of a sudden you're going, wait a second, my 1 or 2 clients that were my bread and butter are gone. And I haven't diversified. I'm still stuck in this narrative genre. So you want to definitely, like Bev was saying for sure, is yes, you can come out, you can land a good client, but you want to definitely be able to, along the way, make sure that you still go out there and compete in all the other subgenres, if you will, just in case that happens. Because it just happened to a friend of mine, is why I'm bringing that up. So,
The only exception I would have added to my line, and Peter, I'm sorry to see your hand up, is
That's okay.
audiobooks. Some people just do audiobooks,
Right.
and that might be the exception to the rule. But
Right.
Peter?
But even then,
point.
with audiobooks, I mean, the rates are not, they can be, unless you're top tier.
Mhm.
You have to do a lot of books. You're just reading 24 hours a day to make a living. It's hard. I was going to say, but it's analogous to the agency business, ad agencies. I was in radio years ago, worked with a lot of little advertising agencies in the area, and areas where I worked, Cincinnati, here in Connecticut, Boston, and they had 2 clients or 1 client.
Right.
And they would be there, they're doing gangbuster business, we're doing all kinds of work for them, and then boom, they lose that client and they're gone. And they have to go and start a new agency or go work for somebody else. And that's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the business is getting new business, pitching new clients, then working on the side, so to speak, to get the work done for the 2 that you have. So it's very analogous to that. Yeah.
These are great opinions, and I'll throw it back to you, Stacy. But I want to wrap it up by saying, Drew, hope you got your answers there. And if any of you missed part of that conversation, that was a really good question and good feedback. You can definitely listen to the encore tomorrow of the entire show and wait for it on demand in a couple of days, or go to YouTube here within the 24 hours, so you can see the entire video replay as well. So, Stacy, why don't you take us out? And we'll go to break if you want.
Okay, and remember what our recent VIP guest Jessica Blue said. She never intended to go, into dubbing like she did, and it kind of fell in her lap, and she was open to it. So it's really about being open, because you never know what might come your way. You never know.
Really cool.
So.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break, like I said, and we're going to pick Bev Standing's brain, who just came back from VO Atlanta. So stick around. Let's hear what she has to say about that.
This week's Nava News Minute is brought to you by...
Hi, Peter Drew here, professional blabbermouth for several decades. I'm a seasoned voice actor and VO coach, which means I'm not quite old as dirt, but I've been around the block a few times. So whether you've got a face made for radio, like me, or you're one of the beautiful people, if you have a voice and you want to learn how to use it as a voice actor, check out Hot Mic here on VO Radio. You can connect with me at peter@peterdrewvo.com.
Hey everybody, NAVA President Tim Friedlander here with your NAVA News Minute update. The SAG-AFTRA interactive strike is still making progress with AI protections in video games, and NAVA was excited to host a live town hall with some of the members of the Interactive Agreement Negotiating Committee. If you want to rewatch the town hall to learn more about the video game strike, you can do so on our website at navavoices.org under the Resources tab. NAVA debuted a new Best Practices for Kids in VO page this month, which includes resources for parents and a new contract writer just for minors. We are so excited to be a part of VO Atlanta this year, and we'll be hosting a special NAVA panel. Check out all the classes taught by our amazing board members, and visit us at our sponsor table all weekend long. We're also thrilled to announce that we awarded 5 VO Atlanta scholarships this year. Special thanks to Joe Zija and Jennifer Sunbell for donating 2 of those scholarships. And finally, we're continuing to make headway on AI legislation at the state and federal levels. Thank you to everyone for all your support. To find out more info on NAVA, visit our website at navavoices.org. Thanks a lot.
Somebody has to be the best in the business.
Elevate your voice with NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors. As a nonprofit association, NAVA is dedicated to the advocacy and protection of all our voices and for championing the equitable advancement of the voice acting industry. Visit the website at navavoices.org today. NAVA, together they can protect the future of voice acting and make our voices heard. Your voiceover career is dynamic and moving fast, and market trends for voice actors are constantly changing. So having the right resources to stay on top of your game is critical to your success. That's why VO pros and newcomers alike rely on VoiceOverXtra.com daily as their one-stop resource for voiceover success. Cut through the social media noise and find the information you need fast at VoiceOverXtra.com. It's the right resource for you now.
It's officially fall, y'all, and that means the new fall-winter issue of the VoiceOver Resource Guide is out now. Issue number 78. We've created a fully updated special video game strike edition of the Vorg for you. 3 pages dedicated to strike info. So get yours today at one of our pickup locations near you, or head to thevorg.net. Get one shipped out, and we'll plant a tree when you do. How nice is that?
Let's talk VO live on VO Radio.
Interact with the show by texting 970-682-3424
Or email your question to the show.
using the app email icon, radio player window, ask a question button.
Or send an email to
ask@voradioonline.com. Let's talk VO live on VO Radio.
It's here for you.
All right, we got to get Peter unmute. This is live radio.
Oh, he's
That's the
into
first time.
it.
That's the
Okay,
first
there.
time I did that.
He's the first
just
for
did it.
everything in this business.
Well, last
So-
week I
Learning
couldn't find
from
my
the
place in the.
best.
I couldn't find my place where what I was supposed to say last week. So now I was all set. And I didn't turn my mic on.
Well, that's how they know it's live radio out there.
That's
That's
people.
right.
Live video.
And that's what I'm here to do, is ask you to join us for live radio. You just heard on the intro, the phone numbers and the email and all that, but you can join the party here live and in person via Zoom video if you would like. You can go to voradioonline.com and click on the Zoom video link. Why am I tapping the table? Don't do that. As Zoom call in, and you can put your face up here and talk to us, and you can chime in. We bring up a topic or answering an email, whatever. Chime in and put your 2 cents worth in and have some fun. Maybe have your favorite beverage along with you and
Oh, yeah.
join us. And then next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we have a VIP guest, David Rosenthal, the CEO of GVAA, a very fine resource for all things voiceover, and including their famous rate guide, which so many people do use nowadays.
Mhm.
So David will be on, and folks will be asking him questions, and he'll be answering them, and we'll get some input from him on the business and what they do at GVAA. So that's what's coming up, and let's check out another. No, we want to go to Bev. We want to go to
Yeah,
Bev.
do
Let's
that.
go to
Good
Bev.
idea.
She was at VoiceOver Atlanta, and she has the scoop on what she was doing down there when the panel she hosted, and also general goings on. So, Bev, tell us more. What was VO Atlanta about all this particular year?
It was absolutely amazing. It was 1,000 people.
Wow.
But the facility is laid out in such that you never really feel like there's 1,000 people. There's hundreds of people, but there was 1,000 people there. It was so well organized. They had volunteers that could direct you. The IT staff headed by Patrick Kushner, and obviously there's a whole team of people that he was in charge of. And from my point of view, it was flawless. They did something new this year, and forgive me, I'm exhausted. I can't
As
remember
you
what they
should be.
called them, but they had these. If they volunteered to be kind of buddies for someone that had never been to a conference before, and help show them around and introduce them to some people and stuff. And they were like, I can't think of the words. It starts with a C. I'm just blanking, but Commodores, I think they called them, and they were very, very helpful. And you'd be standing and you'd see their pin, so you knew the person they were with had never been to a VO Atlanta before, and they could possibly be
cool.
new, and would start the conversation for them so that they could get in it. I'm sure they found it beneficial too. There was a ton of X sessions, but they were by incredible coaches and agents. Atlas was there, DPN was there. Like, these are top people. Portia Scott was there. There were casting directors. And everybody just mingled amongst themselves. We had Wig Night.
Wig
Night?
People didn't
Tell us more.
recognize
Tell us
me. It
more.
was-
Tell us more.
Pardon?
Tell us more about Wig Night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I went back to my past. I was a brunette.
There you go.
That's so
Bangs and glasses, and
Oh,
people
how
were
fun.
walking by me that I knew really well and just going, hi.
That's great. That's so great.
It was
so
it was
great.
a lot of fun. The weather was beautiful. The restaurants nearby were great. The staff was amazing. I'd recommend it. I think the tickets are on sale next year. I'm going to plug them. The tickets are on sale at a discount right now. They are also, if you want to go to VO or One Voice this year in Dallas and
Right.
VO Atlanta next year. They do a combo
Right.
at an amazing price. So it's well worth. And I think you can also pay and get the recorded sessions that were done.
Awesome. Yep.
It was great. It was a lot of fun, and the hotel was great. And yeah, it was good.
Awesome. Hey, speaking of that, not to over plug them, but I want to plug them. So, because we all know who we are and all that stuff. J. Michael and me were talking a couple of weeks ago, right before the event, and he was teasing up the fact that they've outgrown it. So they're even looking at possibly getting into a new venue somewhere. Isn't anything in the works yet? But there's rumors that will allow more people to attend because they've outgrown their pants, if you will. So that's one thing. But you just plugged what I want to throw at you. Right now, the video replay is going to be available soon for the 25 and 24 and 23 years. So you can get an HD video replay access. For VO Radio listeners, they're offering 25% off right now. No, we aren't getting an affiliate kickback or nothing. It's legitimately just a way to pay it forward again. So J. Michael and all the guys at VO Atlanta are giving a 25% discount. So you can go to the website. You can go to our throughout the site. You can see our email that was sent out today, and you can get 25% off of the video replay. So you'll be able to see a lot of the sessions, the X sessions, or whatever they recorded for the 25% off discount, which is, I think, is a pretty dang good if you look at it.
It is. I also want to just say one other thing, and that's something that I found out. I don't do video games, so I'm not completely aware of all the issues on the strike. But I found out what the one issue that's stopping the strike from ending is, and that is AI. Mm-hmm. They have agreed not to use voices to produce AI moving forward, but they will not budge on the fact that they still have access to previous recordings.
That's right.
And until that changes, the strike will stand.
I agree.
So
yeah.
if you're a non-union doing video games, please know you are hurting the industry by saying, sure, because as long as they can get you, they can move forward producing their games.
Well
and it's
said.
hurting everybody because they can go back 20 years. All the work that the actors have done in the past, they can access.
Well,
If the strike ends, but they're moving forward, they won't do it.
that's the attitude of AI industry in general. Is to go out on the internet and just take all the copyrighted material and not have to pay for anything. That's how they're training their large language models.
Yep.
And that's
So
absolutely
that's the
wrong.
one issue that's
Absolutely
keeping the
wrong.
strike still in place. So
Yep.
please just be aware of that. Make your decisions based on that. I'm never going to say you can't feed your family because of the strike going on, but just be aware of what it is.
That's right. We're all in this
Thank
together.
you.
And
Thank
you know,
for that.
yeah, actually, I think 3 or 4 weeks, I can't remember what the date is, Stacy. We have Tim coming back in from Nava, and he's going to be our VIP, so he tried to say VIP guest on a Wednesday. I'm not sure. I think it's in April sometime, but he's going to bring us up to speed and where we're at that point. And so I'm sure
They
he's gonna
even had
talk about
SAG-AFTRA at the conference.
fantastic.
Yep.
Really good. All right, let's go ahead and go into a question.
You're listening to VO Radio. The views, opinions, and insights shared are not necessarily those of other panelists, guests, and contributors on VO Radio and its broadcast programs. Advice, tips, opinions, and legal suggestions are based on industry experience of the individual co-host, panelist, guest, or contributor. These opinions and comments are not endorsed by or verified by VO Radio and its operators. Listener discretion is advised.
All right.
The best music ever made.
If you're like most voice talent today, you're wondering various things relating to your voiceover career. Well, VO Radio has your answers. Here's more questions answered by our panelists live on Let's Talk VO here on VO Radio.
Listen and learn. Internet radio for the voice artist, just like you.
Okay, now it's my turn. I forgot about the
And that's probably my fault being the board op guy. I should warn you
No.
guys. Yeah, we have a disclaimer now in front of the sweeper. So anyways.
It's all right. That's way things go. As far as the email, we're going to go to another email, but just a reminder, you can text us at 970-682-3424. You can ask and record a question with that particular button on the app. And if you want to send an email, the info icon on the app then the info icon on the app, then the email icon, and you can send an email that way, or just via a plain old-fashioned email address, ask@voradioonline.com. So somebody did one of those things and got us an email, and this time it is from Sandy in Georgia, and it says here, why are single genre demos important versus just a master portfolio demo? So a general compilation, compilation demo. So who would like to take that one?
Go for it, Bev. What do you think?
Well, if you're doing audiobooks and you give them a commercial demo, you're likely not going to get much work. If you're doing commercials and you do, 10 or 12 seconds of a commercial and then go into IVR or video games, you're likely not going to get much work. The bottom line is it's good to have range. So if I do a commercial demo, I need to show that within the commercial world, I have range. And in order to do that, I need to give you 1 minute of my audio, and you just can't fit all of them in. All the different genres. It doesn't make sense to do that. Agents will ask for a commercial demo. Online casting say, if you don't have any other demos, get a commercial demo. You do video games and put it out for commercials, you're not going to get work. So you can't diversify that much, or you're irrelevant. If I was casting for commercials and I wanted you to send me a demo and put you on my roster, and I heard commercials, then I heard video games, and that I wouldn't be able to compete with who I had on my roster, and I likely wouldn't take you.
Yep.
Do you think the motivation for the question is cost? As far as demos?
It very well could be. But keep in mind, and I'll probably get my hand slapped for this. A commercial demo, corporate video demo, animation, video games, have them done. Shop around. We have people, I know that there is a company in Canada that if you're a member of Kava, you get a discount with these people. So, shop around. There's a lot of great people and there's a lot of not great people. Don't do those genres yourself.
Definitely.
IVR, do it yourself.
Yes.
E-learning, possibly, do it yourself. Have it listened to before you send it out to anybody. But don't do those other genres by yourself. Have it done by somebody. And there's a huge range from, $1,000 to $3,000. So pick the genre that you're going to make money on, and then put a percentage of what you're making away for a second demo. Don't do them all at once.
And the way I look at it is I produce a lot of demos. Stacy and others know I do a lot of demos. I got 3 going on right now this week alone. And basically, I'm a believer in not charging ridiculous rates from the standpoint of having a shelf life be able to be realistic. I'm not a demo mill. And there are a lot of demo mills out there who will basically make you break into your college fund for your kids and rob their piggy banks and take out a loan for your second mortgage or whatever. The reality is you shouldn't have to spend the big money for a demo that you're going to potentially outgrow in a year or two, for one thing, as your career progresses. The other part of that is, I think what's the name? Sandy. I think what Sandy was asking here is what we call a compilation or combination demo. Combo demo is a good demo to be able to showcase a little bit of everything. Like Bev was talking about, a little commercial, a little narrative, a little imaging, little character stuff. You can give them quick sizzle reel, 5, 6, 7 bites of a variety of your stuff. But single genre demos are focus genre demos: commercial demo, narrative demo, imaging demo, animation and character, cartoon, whatever you want to call it, demo, gaming demo, telephone, IVR, dubbing, whatever you want to. There's a variety of demos that are one-off, specific genre-focused demos you want to have. You want to also consider a short 60 to 75 second version of those single genres demos, Sandy, for sure. Like Bev was saying, most agents want a 60 to 75 second max speedo, or what I call sizzle reel. They want to have a quick way to show their clients or prospects what you're all about, quick and to the point. And they can move on to the next tile. They can move on to the next tile. It's all about, back in the day, it was about WAV file size that would take hours to upload by the old dial-up days. to now it's more about being able to showcase 7 to 10 talent they think will be right for your project. Instead of 4 minutes a piece, they want to be right to the point. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, don't like him. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, like him. Bang, bang, bang. So single genre Sandys are definitely something you want to work with. You want to find a producer, me, Mark, and Ed, and a lot of people that are good producers out there that are in touch with how to develop a good demo from production value, and also from a point of view, from a standpoint of being able to develop a demo that is developed by somebody who understands what they call TSL, time spent listening. We want to have them stay from the beginning and not bail out 15 seconds in your demo. And the way you do that is by developing a good quality single genre demo that then keeps them hooked all the way through by constantly slamming them, by constantly bombarding them with really good stuff, not just the same old song and dance. This is what I sound like. If they can predict 15, 20 seconds into the demo what you sound like, they're going to bail. So there's a lot of philosophy that goes into this. So like Bev was just pointing out, I'm very passionate about that. That's why I'm tangent a bit. Bev pointed out a really good point. That is, make sure that you work with somebody who understands how to develop a demo, not just because they understand audio production, not just because they can add music underneath you and bury it and make you think you have a demo. They have to understand the mindset. And a lot of times that comes from somebody who has broadcast programming background, who understands how to retain and keep them listening all the way through your demo, make them wanting more at the very end. So that when your demo's over, they go, wow, I got to hear that again. And they go back and hit play over. It's like a terrible movie. You ain't going to watch it a second time. But I can't tell you how many times I've seen Forrest Gump or Castaway, right? Or a lot of those movies that are, or The Godfather, or, you know, I can go down, or The Equalizer with Denzel. I've seen them probably 4 or 5 times each because they're great movies. Unlike one-off movies, you go, oh my God, I'll never watch this again. You almost want to shut it off halfway through. That same philosophy applies to a single genre demo. So I'm throwing that out just for food for thought, because actually Keith, who Bev just met at VO Atlanta, Keith Clinkscales, who actually we did an audition underground review. He wrote in and he asked that same similar question. My question is, when making a voice reel, do you add background music, noise, or just use only your voice? You want to definitely develop a good production value demo. And that comes from working with a producer who understands how to develop really good demos. That's why Deb Monroe went to Mark Rao. That's why people that understand to go to an experienced veteran producer. You don't hire the kid or the guy next door because he's $300 and he's cheap and you get what you pay for. And the worst thing you can do on really quality demos, Sandy, is when you're competing in a commercial genre or narration genre or imaging genre, which are the most competitive, or character, those 4, give or take 5 genres, you don't want a Home Depot mentality demo. You do not want to develop a demo that we as content people who have trained years for 35, 40 years can hear. You threw that together yourself, game over. If you are seen as an amateur with your demos, you're going to be not only asked to supply rate like an amateur, they're going to think you're a Fiverr thumbtack talent, work for food. You want a professionally well done demo by somebody who understands. But like Bev was just saying, certain demos like your telephone and some of the IVR and stuff, you can kind of get away with. It isn't as technically hard to develop a on-hold message demo or whatever, but when you're working with somebody who understands how to develop a demo, it sounds like a demo showcases you and the production value. That's a major plus in the industry. So hopefully, Keith, I'm throwing that back at you too, man, because I said when you emailed this the other day, we would address it a little bit in length. You want to not fall into the trap of, well, buy my book and make your own demos. Go to the website on YouTube and watch my video on how to make your own demo. $29.95 plus taxes, please. Sorry, it's a scam. The reality is, and I'm sorry, I get bombarded from my peers who are other producers. There are people who are not producers, but they are trying to bait you into believing you can do it yourself. Ask any agent out there who is a legitimately A-listing agent, and they're going to say, if you send me your own self-made tape, you're delete. You have to be a pro. You have, like a model has to have a professional portfolio. So food for thought, hard love. I'll probably get a ton of emails, but that's my
Anthony,
opinion.
I'm gonna jump in here.
Sure.
One of the things I did was an imaging demo years and years ago, and I combined two genres of imaging, and I got told, no, you don't do that. You just, so the question is, genre specific. The answer is yes.
Yes. And there are subgenres, like
Look at
you point
me.
out.
No
That's
to the
killer.
first one, yes to the second. Those
Yeah,
are my
that's
answers.
killer. There are subgenres. You watching, others listening, Sandy, Keith, there are subgenres. You have a commercial category genre, but underneath that subgenre, you have automotive, you have medical, you have alcohol, you have fast food, you have sports, you have recreation, you have travel, you have 7 to 10 subgenres. I have people come to me that are veterans in the business, and they say, I don't need a commercial demo. I need an automotive only demo. And Stacy knows, having done some herself with me, they need a industry specific demo. They may want a finance only demo. They want to travel, cruise ships and resorts and sandals type and beaches types of places and Bahamas and stuff. So you're absolutely right. Bev just hit it out of the park. You want a commercial demo, but you also want to consider investing in specific subgenre demos so that when the day comes, a prospect worth $7,500 to you, and isn't looking for a national talent, says, send me your automotive demo. And I used to get a lot of it back when I was in radio in the day. That's why I knew from that day forward to make sure I have subgenre demos. They're going to say, do me a favor, send me your travel demo. And if you go, well, I have clip 3 and number 9 on my demo that are travel, they're going to go, well, like Bev just said, it's really not a travel targeted demo. Okay. But if you say, sure, bang, and you can send that out, it takes time. You build up your library over potentially 2 or 3, even 4 years, but you buy, instead of one major investment in a demo, find somebody who can make you a demo, but 2 or 3 subgenre demos, and for the same kind of money. And food for thought. It's worth.
If you're starting out, you can put, sorry, Peter, if you're starting out, put an automotive spot on your thing. If you're, show your range. That's what I said. Show your range on your first demo. You're talking way when people are advanced. For the newer people, a commercial demo, just be diverse.
That's right.
Peter?
Stacy was going to make a point.
Oh, Stacy.
And it was such a relief for me to know that normally when someone asks for your demo, it's usually the commercial demo. That's a good thing to know, because people don't necessarily say that. And when you have a few different ones, you're like, oh my God, which one do I lead with? But my very first demo was a compilation, like so many of us do. It had, everything but the kitchen sink. And, thinking back, I might have had that in there too, and I thought, I want to make sure they know I can do a British accent, and I have all this stuff, and I'm looking back and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. But at the time, those were the best samples that I had. And I had a demo and I was happy for a second. And then I went ahead and made sure I had proper demos and commercial demo and one for all different kinds of things. But it made me feel confident because, again, these are still great samples. And I have this. Someone asked me earlier today in an email, send me your gaming demo and your commercial demo, whatever else you have. And boom, like within a couple of minutes, I have those right on my desktop, ready to go. And it just made me feel so professional. So again, I always say this for so many different things, but just because you can do something yourself doesn't mean you should. You can save money somewhere else. But circling back to that question, Sandy, it's so important to have genre specific demos. You'll be so glad that you did, and you can always add on to those. And it is interesting what Anthony said, how quickly you do grow out of your demos. I even feel like, oh my gosh, I needed more commercial demos.
Right.
I came across on LinkedIn Melanie Thomas. I don't know, you folks know Melanie?
Yep.
She directs the director of animation and video games. Where is she at? Well, she doesn't have the company here. What company does she work for? Do you know?
I don't know if she's with the same. She moves around a lot.
Yeah, okay. And voiceover talent manager. She wrote an article on what I look for in a VO talent, a shift in perspective, and she addresses demos in here. A well-produced demo tells me that a talent has invested in their craft, taken the time to work with reputable producers, and understands the importance of showcasing themselves in the best possible light. Also it speaks to their taste level. Do they have a clear sense of where they fit in the industry? Are they working with people who know what books? Are they making choices that align with current trends and market demands? Alluding to what Anthony was saying, the producer has to know what's going on in the marketplace, and these details tell me a lot before I even get on the phone with them. So that's a perspective from somebody outside our little group here, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
Totally makes sense. And to wrap up a little bit, and then I'll get everybody else's last opinion on it too, is a lot of people don't understand what a demo really does. So I'll hopefully for you listeners or those watching understand, and Keith and who's Sandy, the demo is not the setup. The demo is the slam or dunk. The setup is your audition. Your agent sends you an audition, or your pay-to-play sends you an audition. Your job then is to kick butt on the audition. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write to your demo. So the second play button, if you want to use the pay-to-play philosophy, is right next to what your audition is for that project. They hit the play button, your default specific demo for that particular audition or whatever. Once they hear that, the next thing they do is Google you. The very next thing to do, because everybody's Google freaky this day, they go right to Google and they type your name in. If you don't have a website, if your name doesn't come up, if you come up buried, if there's no name response, they go amateur. If you come up on the top of Google, you have a website, you have professional sound, they're going to come back to your agent, they're going to come back to your pay-to-play, and they're going to now re-listen to your demo. And that demo is like, a friend of mine has been a very successful stockbroker for years. And basically what he does is he's the ringer. He's the cleanup guy, like in sports. He's the fourth guy on the bowling team, or the third guy on the bowling team. He's the cleanup guy. And his job is his people call and set up, get the people interested in buying the stocks or buying the gold or whatever. And then he gets on the phone and he closes it. What can we do? That's what your demo does, Sandy, is your demo is as important. Don't put thought into it's secondary. It's not a big deal. It's just as important as that audition and your agent and your network sending you the leads. Once you kick butt on an audition, it may come down to who gets the call back. If you're in the running for 2 or 3 people, like Melanie was just saying, if you're in the running for 2 or 3 people and you're in that short list and you're up for a lead or a national or a major a cartoon or whatever, a pilot going to MIP or something, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to listen to you, listen to your audition, possibly send you a call back saying we want a new cut. Then they're going to go, okay, we got the final 3. What do we do next? They're going to listen to your whatever the demo is relevant. And at that point, if your demo is inferior to the other 2 people they're competing with, you're now on what they call the show. You're at third spot. You're not placing or you're not winning the race. So you want to put, I know I'm stressing a lot, but you want to put a lot of emphasis into developing. It doesn't mean you have to break the bank, but you want to develop really good quality demos that will help you slam or close the deal with your audition. Like Melanie was talking about, why? Short and sweet, they are going to evaluate you, and the impression they're going to get off you is, do you have enough confidence and professionalism that I'm willing to put an $80,000 buy on your back if you spent $100 and made your own demos? No. If you went professional and invested in a professional demo, they're going to see you, like Peter was just saying, they're going to see you as a professional level A/B listing talent who has known to invest properly in developing professional demos, professional website, professional training. You're packaged. So, oh, well, I know I'm going off.
It's time to move on, I believe, to Who's That Voice?
Yeah, let's do that. Good idea before I run the whole show out to
you were giving so much information there.
That was too much. What happens when you get the fire, man? You get the fire, you get the bug. So
this week's Who's That Voice is sponsored by
The darkest hour when the night unfolds, I'm a lioness ready to take control.
Hi, I'm Bev Standing, a voice actor in Canada, and I started my journey in the VO world in 2008 and have not looked back.
No one can hold me back.
If you want to talk to me personally about coaching, just message me at bev@bevstanding.com, or you can contact me through my website, bevstanding.com.
Who's that voice?
I beg your pardon.
Do you have a knack for knowing a voice? Can you recognize a voice with your eyes closed?
Oh, I just rescued a tiger.
VO Radio wants to give you a chance to win free coaching, online courses, and other great stuff.
Greetings, Earthlings.
Listen to Let's Talk VO and VO2B for the weekly voice of the day.
There's a secret mission.
Then fill out the Who's That Voice contest entry, and you'll be added into our weekly drawing on the Let's Talk VO Live the following Monday.
I think that I've lived like 3 lives.
Now let's test your ability to recognize a voice with this week's Who's That Voice?
All right, so we're going to do that. You have your opportunity to win some good stuff. And first of all, you're welcome, Sandy. Sandy wrote in, hey, you guys, thanks so much for all your advice. I know better than to listen now to my neighbor who thinks he's a know-it-all, quote unquote. He told me that all I got to do is do what I do with my selfies, create my own selfies, and it'll work. It does not work that way, apparently. So you're absolutely right. So it definitely ran with our information here. So,
Great.
All right. So here what we do here, we play this clip. You get an opportunity to now listen to the clip and go to the website and find on the website the contest entry form, fill it out with the proper guess at who this voice clip belongs to, and you're going to have a chance to win. And I think we got what's going on. First of all, Keith Clinkscale, speaking of which, is the winner of last week's free downloadable, say that a million times, free downloadable digital webinar. Thanks to John and VoiceOver Extra. So congratulations, Keith. So we really do have winners. And we are going to give away an hour of free coaching with Miss Deb Chef Munro, or Chef Deb Munro, however you say that. She has donated another hour of private coaching, and we're going to be giving it away. So anyways, let's go for it. And got your ears on? Here we go. Here's this voice clip, and it's a short one. So hopefully you're going to listen closely. Here we go.
Just think, our whole family packed together on a long, slow trip across country.
That's a tough one. I think what I'll do is I'll play that again because I think that's going to require us to play it maybe twice here. Here we go. Here's the second play. All right, let's see what we got.
Just think, our whole family packed together on a long, slow trip across country.
It's pretty distinguishable. Yeah,
Okay.
Stacy's like, can I win this hour of free coaching?
I had to really like dig on that one. Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But once you hear that, like most of them, he's got such a signature identity, his sound and everything. So there's your chance. Go to the website, check out the contest area on their listeners, fill out the form, send it through, and you can be like Keith and all the others who have won. You can be this week. So remember, this was today and Wednesday, and then Friday during VO2B. You have three chances this week to listen to it again and potentially win and have your name entered in the drawing. And then next Monday during the Let's Talk VO 5 p.m. Eastern time, he plugs, we're going to announce who the winner is we pulled. So, all right, so where do we go next after this? We take a quick break, and then Bev's going to bring us back in. We got one more quick answer, and I swear I will be tangent off on this one. And we're going to share that much needed love. So hang tight. Don't go nowhere.
This week's Events and Happenings is brought to you by
Street Smart Coaching.
That's what you get at VO 101.
Hi, I'm Anthony Reese, 35-year veteran, casting director, producer, and voiceover coach here at VO 101.
Whether a beginner or veteran voice talent,
you'll find everything you need to get your career started or take your career to the next level. Training, website design, YouTube channel creation, voiceover demos, video demos, a free evaluation, and even a free training area.
Get Street Smart Coaching at VO 101.
That's VO101.com.
VO101.com.
Hey, y'all. This is Ali, chef with Events and Happenings, Audio Publishers Association 2025 in New York, March 2nd and 3rd. Go to audiopub.org and go to APA-conference for more information. VO Atlanta, the voiceover conference that is the world's largest and longest running voiceover conference, will be happening March 20th through 23rd at the Hilton Atlanta Airport. Go to voatlanta.me to learn more. Also, if you want to go somewhere pretty cool, get mic'd Well, they've got their Ultimate VO Survivor Weekend Retreat, and that will be June 27th through June 30th. It is an opportunity for workshops, panels, team building, risk-taking, awakening, adventure, pool, spa, fire pit, character, Oki games. It is a lot of fun. It's a retreat, and I highly recommend it. And as always, folks, if you have an event or you have a happening that you would like us to announce and share with the VO Radio community, please reach out to us. Have a great day.
It has been said that all the world is a stage. Like characters in a movie, game, play, or cartoon, we all have a backstory. And VO Radio wants to hear yours. Every Monday, VO Radio wants to listen to your story on Let's Talk VO. Simply go to the What's Your Story section of our website, fill out the form, tell us your story, and if selected, you'll be interviewed live on Let's Talk VO here on VO Radio. What's your story? Tell us yours. What's your story? We want to know. VO Radio. It's here for you.
Let's Talk VO Live on VO Radio.
Interact with the show by texting 970-682-3424
Or email your question to the show.
using the app email icon, radio player window, ask a question button.
Or send an email to
ask@voradioonline.com. Let's Talk VO Live on VO Radio.
It's here for you.
I'm going to repeat that number. It's 970-682-3424. We love it when you text in. We love it when you call in. We love it when you email. And as the Stacy's voice just said, do all those things. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love you to join us. You know, we sit here, the 4 of us or 5 of us. We'd love you to be part of this show. The reason we do this show is for you, and we want to pay it forward. That's what we do. That's what so many people in this industry do. We're lucky that we have this platform to do it. I'm thinking it's the top of the hour, so let's go right into the next email question, if we could. This one comes from Bennett in Oregon. And this is, this is actually a really great question, and this could lead to so many things, but we're going to try and stay focused because of the time. It's going to be tough. Is it important to have weekly or monthly auditions review in private? So, Bennett, I want to ask where you're going with this, and I think we can address it in different ways. Do you mean the auditions you send in to your agent you want to review? Or is this something you're doing auditions on online castings or through agents, and you meet in an accountability group? So those are 2 questions where you could have your auditions reviewed. And I'm going to let, Peter, I'm going to go to you. Pick one of those avenues and provide some guidance on that.
As far as monthly or weekly, or I'm sorry.
Even just having audition reviews, whether they be weekly or, combine that question, whether they should be weekly or whether you should have them at all.
Yeah, it's a good idea if your budget allows, because if you're getting regular coaching, but make that part of it. Tell your coach, hey, I'd like a review of my auditions, and then you can work something out. I've actually gotten emails from and ads, if you will, from certain coaches that will do an audition review before you do the audition. So you can pay a little extra, $25 or whatever, for a few minutes of time and go over the audition and work it out with the coach. And then you go on to do the audition. Hopefully you get the gig. So there's different ways to do it, especially maybe at the beginning. If you're not used to auditioning, that would be a good idea to maybe do it monthly. I don't know about weekly, but monthly. And again, it depends on budget and what you can afford, how you've worked it out with your coach. But that would be a good idea, because auditioning is an art unto itself, if you will, and has a certain procedure, and they're looking for certain things. Do you do what the specs call for the first read, and then do a second take with your wild interpretation of it, to show flexibility or some that you do other things besides here's the specs, this is what you wanted. There are all kinds of ways to look at it and different ways to approach auditioning. Do you do Nancy Wolfson's famous whisper read that she was doing a number of years ago, where you go very quiet and you do this very quiet kind of an audition, and it just would catch everybody's ear, like, wow, that's kind of weird. And then and then they would ask for
We
more.
call it the Joe Biden audition. Yeah.
The Joe Biden audition, but
my God.
that was a particular style of doing auditions. So yes, I think that doing a review, maybe monthly, bi-monthly, whatever your budget can afford.
Daisy, you do a lot of auditions. Have you ever thought about having them sitting down with someone and doing them in private and having a review?
You know what? Depending on the circumstance, I have. And sometimes the timing doesn't always work out. Like if I have to do something rather quickly, that's the tough part. You know, if someone is, within this 24-hour period, if you could get a hold of your coach and your mentor or what have you. But it's a very interesting thing to do a review of your auditions in hindsight with either coaches, mentors, or an accountability group. The timing, that's the difficult part of it, if you have something that you need to turn in. But one thing to look out for, if you have an accountability group, be careful. Everyone has a different opinion and a different spin on it, whether it's a coach or anybody in your accountability group. So it's often an opinion. So make sure that these are people who are definitely worth their weight and are out there maybe having more experience than you, hopefully, because it can get very confusing when there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Mixed messages. Yeah.
Anthony, what do you have to say about that?
I agree totally. I'm not a big believer in the, I'm believing it's nice, like we do at VO Radio with the Audition Underground, to have your audition sent in and let a handful of people that are professionals critique it. I'm not a big believer in having your peers critique your audition, because who's critiquing their auditions? You're all critiquing each other's auditions. And the reality is, do they really know what the industry is looking for, et cetera, et cetera? So Stacy nailed that. The other thing too is the post versus pre-audition. A lot of times when people contact me, they want to book a pre-audition with me. The problem is I'm already scheduled for the day. I'm already booked for that day or even the next day in some cases. If that's a deadline, it has to be back by tomorrow at 2:00. You want to send out by tonight. Having that available coach available to be able to audition right away that day is pretty hard to go by. So the pre-audition has to be something that you have a few days. If they give you till Friday, or it's through an agent or through your contact or through your website, then you have a couple of days to buy that what I call a pre-audition phase. But if you're in a post environment, there are benefits to that post audition. Even if you say you didn't land the gig, you didn't get a call back, it was crickets. You don't know whatever became of it. It just went in the abyss of auditions, like a lot of them do, probably 95% do. There's nothing more important than finding 3 or 2 or 3. What I do with my students is, and having me set up a session with you to review it, give you my feedback or my critique. But that includes having you send me the script, the specs, and the audition itself, so that I can see what they were looking for, see how well you interpret it, and how well you gave them what they were looking for. But like Peter said, how well you also offered up your own version or interpretation or take of it. And then you don't worry about, well, I could have did this, could have, should have, would have, did have. You worry about, okay, what can I learn from that review and apply next week? So you always carry forward your reviews. It's nothing more important, in my opinion. Once you're established as a beginner or an intermediate like Stacy, or advanced talent, and I get a lot of people who if I said who they were, people would go, that person looking for training? You'd be surprised. People that are in the business out of LA contact somebody out of the market because they don't want to be worried to get out. All right. And they will ask you, can you do me a favor? Can I get an hour or 90 minutes with it, critique my most 5 auditions to my agent, and see what you thought and why I might not have landed it? And there is something about saying that, fast forwarding, being able to use that input. But you want to make sure that Bev or Deb or me or somebody or Peter, or people that have experience, aren't giving you a bunch of hook and bait to get you to buy more training. If they are being honest and they give you, here's what is could have done to improve it, then you can run with it constructively and you can hopefully apply it. The key is applying it in the real world scenario next time. And eventually you'll hopefully overcome the things you're doing wrong because you don't get feedback.
So let me just sum that up with, is it important to have weekly or monthly audition reviews in private? If you have an accountability group, let me rephrase this. If you're with an agent, if you're to the point where you have agents and they're not saying anything and you're not booking, set up an appointment with them. And you don't have to go over your auditions so much as to say to them, is what I'm submitting competitive?
Right.
Because I mean, I've done that, and you've gone, what you're submitting is absolutely perfect. You just weren't picked.
Right.
So that's one way. If you're on online casting and you're just never booking and you're not getting thumbs up or whatever it is they do, or you're dropping in the algorithm percentages, then you need to have a look at a little bit more than that, a little more depth. So I think, then you would go to an agent and say, or somebody you want to train with, a coach, and say, I want to include some audition reviews during our time together.
Yep.
Right. And I'll send it to you ahead of time. I'll send you the audio. And if you could critique it, that's great. But I think to have it on a regular basis, I don't think that there's many people that do that. If you're not booking, something's wrong, or you're just not the flavor of the month.
Right.
But yeah, you'll get feedback. You'll get dropped from rosters. You're not submitting quality. You'll just never book on online casting. You won't make any money on any jobs. Then you know something's wrong, and you need to know more about not necessarily what you did wrong on those auditions, but how do you get better on what you do submit.
Right.
So that would be my answer to that question.
Definitely, and beauty's in the ear of the beholder is what I like to say, not in the eyes of the beholder. In this business, it's the ear of the beholder. So the reality is, you're not hearing back, you're not landing gigs, like Bev just says. Sometimes it's just because you weren't right for the project. That's just it. It's their decision why they cast you, but you want to make sure that you do everything right when you train with whoever you work with, coaches, plural, that you get enough constructive input from them to be able to know when you're doing your audition, because they can't hold your hand when you're doing it, that you're submitting a good enough quality audition that you can wash your hands and keep on trucking. And don't think every night, lay in bed in the weeds in your sleep going, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Oh my God, what's going on? How come my hair red? You might as well leave the business. Because if you're driving yourself to where you're going to have a stroke or a heart attack, then like Bev said, there is something to be said about having maybe once a month, finding somebody that knows what they're talking about and review 3 or 4 of them for you, even via email with an audio video response. It doesn't have to be in a session. You can pay them a fee just to do it. I do a lot of them over Zoom for people. I'll record a Zoom and response a video and give them feedback. And it's food for thought. It doesn't mean that we are the holy grail, but it means that it's food for thought from people who do cast and hire talent. Maybe I can think about this and that and this and that. But yeah, for sure. Hey, let's wrap it up. Let's go for it. I'm going to go around the horn like we do real quick, and we'll wrap things up, giving everybody a chance to give us their final thoughts, starting with Bev Standing.
I knew you'd go there. My final thought is be kind. One of the things I noticed at VO Atlanta is how helpful everyone was, how kind everyone was, and how it just made every day so wonderful. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing voice acting or you're just being you, be kind.
Nice.
Nice.
Well said. Awesome. Peter Drew, what's your thoughts?
Basically the same thing. It's we have ranged over so many topics today. I'm trying to figure out how to sum them all up. I think it is just, if you're early in your career, get the training, work at in the business aspect. We're always talking about the performance aspect, but learn about the business too and how to get the business. So, and as Bev said, be kind. You kind to other people, they'll be kind to you. There's a lot of not kindness in the world right now. And we need more kindness. So that's a very good point. Thank you, Bev.
Well said. Awesome. Stacey, what's your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I always have so many thoughts. Okay. Tim Friedlander will be our guest on April 9th, by the way, as our VIP guest. We talked about that earlier in the show.
Excellent.
And I just have to say for you guys, I had an aha moment today, and it was so cool. I've been working on my LA Showcase pieces, and that event is put on by Lalapita's company, and it's something that I'm going to do in person, and I haven't had that many of those kinds of opportunities. So those are auditions for me. I have 3 pieces, and I've had the luxury of being able to work on those for weeks. And this is a great sample of how you should be doing your auditions. But finally I got to that point where they're short, I have them memorized, and talking to myself in the mirror, whatever. And you have to stop and ask yourself, what the heck am I saying? And why the heck am I saying it? Why am I talking about this? If I'm this character, why did I come up with this? Why are we having this conversation? And it made it so real for me. And that was my aha moment. It made it real, because then I'm just talking as that character. And I was like, yay, it was the puzzle piece that finally got put into the puzzle. That's the aha. So ask yourself those questions. Make it real. Make it you.
That is so cool. Well said. And you know what? Don't forget, we got David Rosenthal, the CEO of GVAA, Wednesday during our show. He's our VIP guest. The following Wednesday, we have Mark Cashman coming in. And then the following Wednesday, if I heard you right, is when we're bringing Tim Friedlander from Nava in. So we have 3 or 4 great guests. All of our guests are fantastic that Stacy's booking for us. So thank you, everybody, for being part of the show today. Drew, for sending in your question, Sandy, and Bennett, as well as Keith, for participating in the question Sandy raised about the demos. So don't forget to check out the encore tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to rewatch the entire video on YouTube and or our channel, and listen to it as well on the encore on VO Radio, like we just talked about. So, and we'll see you again on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time for our special guest with David Rosenthal. So any final thoughts, anybody else?
Nope.
All right, here we go. We're done. Thanks for being part of the show today, guys. Take care.
Thank you for watching and listening.
Thanks for listening to VO Radio and Let's Talk